Unidentified freighter. This is the USS Enterprise. May we be of assistance?
Whoever you are, yes. Please help us if you can.
Can't you enhance the frequency?
Too much interference.
Transporter room, have you got a lock on us?
Too much interference.
Hailing frequencies, Mr. Worf.
Captain, I'm encountering the same interference we experienced on Claudia 3.
Right, can you read?
Yes.
There's a good deal of interference, Captain.
Lieutenant, what are their sensor readings? Is that an enemy vessel?
I'm getting too much interference, Captain.
Riker to O'Brien. Can you get a fix on the captain?
Negative, sir. There's some kind of interference.
I believe we are picking up 2 life forms near the beacon.
Another Romulan?
I cannot say. The electromagnetic interference prevents an accurate reading.
Enterprise! It is unlikely we will be able to establish communication with the ship given the electromagnetic interference.
What about the outpost?
There's a great deal of electromagnetic interference. I am unable to determine whether there are any life forms present.
Any sign of the survivors?
Electromagnetic interference is still making it difficult to get a precise reading. I've been exploring the possibility of using a tractor beam to pull the Raman from the atmosphere. However, the high level of interference prevents a positive lock.
Didn't your readings indicate a Class M planet before we passed through the wormhole data?
It is possible that the sensors were affected by interference from the wormhole, Commander.
Can we still beam the affected sections out into space?
No, sir. The spatial rupture is creating severe nucleonic interference.
Mr. Data, will you signal the science ship that we're on our way?
It is unlikely they would receive our communications, sir. The Topin system contains an unstable protostar. It generates significant magnetoscopic interference.
How long will it take to complete a level 1 search?
At least 2 days, sir. The surrounding tetryon interference will limit our sensor range.
Why didn't we detect this before now?
The object's enormous mass is causing a great deal of gravimetric interference.
Mr. Data, if we left immediately, when would we arrive at Outpost 23?
Pardon me, sir. I'm experiencing subspace interference, which limits my abilities.
Ardra somehow transported me here. Will you beam me directly to my quarters?
Aye, sir. Transporter is malfunctioning, Captain. Some sort of interference.
Any indications of life, Mr. Worf?
Scanners read negative, sir, but they may be affected by the interference.
30 seconds to impact.
Captain, I am unable to get a positive lock with the tractor beam. There is magnetic field interference emanating from the core materials.
The shuttle has crashed on the surface.
You have their position?
I am picking up the shuttle's trace signature, but the surface interference is distorting its position.
Get a tractor beam on her?
I cannot establish a lock. She is too close to the star. Solar interference is too high.
Can we establish communication?
No, sir. Subspace interference is too high. The EM interference is limiting the tricorder range. It is useless beyond 100 meters.
What about the energy field that the shuttle passed through?
We're trying to scan it, but we're running into a lot of interference. It's going to take some time.
We've traced the shuttle's energy signature to this point on the surface, but there's too much interference to scan the location.
Still no sign of the structure.
With all this interference, it could be 100 meters away, and we wouldn't know it.
Miss LaForge, can we beam an away team onto the science ship?
We can beam them over there, Captain, but with all this interference, we might not get a positive lock to bring them back.
I want a signal lock on every member of the perimeter teams.
Captain, the storm's interference
As
won't...
soon as the last of the colony is evacuated, I want those perimeter teams out of there. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Are they intentionally jamming our sensors?
It looks more like a natural phenomenon. There's an unusually high amount of EM interference in the planet's magnetosphere.
Still no life form readings coming from the vessel.
Could it be the magnetic interference data?
Jordy?
It's tough to get accurate sensor readings. There's an awful lot of interference in the area.
From what?
I'm not sure. LaForge to Enterprise, come in, please.
Interference?
Transporter room.
Take us up!
I can't get a solid lock on you, sir. There's too much interference.
Bridge to transporter room 2. Can you get a lock on the away team?
Negative, sir. There's too much interference.
Kelsey to Kuros.
This is Kiros. Devore isn't responding. There must be too much interference from the Barian sweep.
Is there any way that we can scan the interior?
I've tried everything I know. There's just too much interference.
I can't contact the Enterprise. There's too much interference.
Cargo Enterprise, do you read me? Too much interference. Transfer emergency power to the antimatter containment system.
I'm trying, but there's a lot of interference.
Maintain your position. And now we must leave you.
Why? There's so much you can teach us.
But that too would be interference.